Hey friends, it's me, the Epi Otaku, the well-rounded nerd. So we gonna Fabius Bile today in the Angel Exterminatus. And this is your warning. He is Fabius Bile. Bile is his last name. That alone should be your content warning. So, not for children, not for the squeamish. Friends, it is the month of Halloween. And who was a better subject for the month of Halloween than Apothecary Fabius and his vile experiments upon his space marine brethren at the hands of chaos? Reading from Angel Exterminatus, the 23rd book of the Horus Heresy by Graham McNeil, picking up in chapter 4, Severed, Carnivalia, Closer Than Brothers. A truth that all living things must come to terms with at some point is that their life is finite, that the energy they draw from, the universal reservoir, will someday be taken back. It was a truth that Apothecary Fabius dismissed as a failure of imagination. Life was motive force like any other, like electricity, like warp fire. And once absurd notions of mortality and right and wrong were removed from the equation, the restoration of that motive force became simply a matter of biological engineering. His laboratory aboard the Andronicus was a place of wonders and revelation, where the secrets of life and death and the narrow spaces in between were laid bare by the slice of his blade and exposed to his towering intellect. It was a labyrinthine warren of curving passageways, vaulted vivisectora of cold iron and hermetically sealed chambers with armor glass portholes that looked into bedlams of grotesquerie. Life had been made, reshaped, and extinguished here. Experiments on living tissue, living beings, and the ignoble dead had stocked the lair of Fabius with specimens of human, post-human, and alien origin. Scavenging the battlefields of this newborn rebellion, with his polished steel blades, he had accumulated an alchemist's treasure trove of the macabre, the holy, the divine. Progenoids cut from the flesh of the living and the dead of Ispan V and Prismatica had furnished Fabius with the genetic master key to 7 of the Emperor's legions. The code sequences that would form the basis of his ultimate revelation. The secrets of the Emperor himself. The cryo-frozen body before him was a distraction, but a necessary one. Its form was brutish and clumsy, but it was one Fabius had worked upon before, rewiring its synaptic receptors to create a cacophonous burst of pleasure in the subject's mind at the merest hint of pain. The internal workings of the body were subtle and would have made a biologist of the Mechanicum weep with a mix of admiration and horror. Icy mist filled the surgical chamber, every last trace of warmth sucked from the space by powerful refrigeration units that chugged and growled beneath the metal flooring. His custom-designed chirurgeon array squatted at his shoulders like an eager observer, its grotesquely articulated arms darting around him with a mind of their own, suturing an oozing blood vessel or cauterizing an open vein. Its clicking digits were more dexterous than his own hands, but there was a satisfaction in feeling the soft, wet texture of an open body beneath the haptic fingertips of his gauntlets. Fabius wore armor contoured to his lean form, enhanced at the waist and shoulders to better support the chirurgeon, with additional joints and custom fabricated gauntlets that incorporated numerous tools of excruciation and healing. A long cloak of pale white hung from his shoulders, stained red with blood at its trailing edge. Lank hair, bleached of color and life, hung in matted ropes from his scalp, and eyes of utter blackness glittered in a face made gaunt by malnutrition and abstinence. A rasping tongue licked along Fabius's lipless mouth like a lizard tasting the air. "Are you not finished yet?" said a voice from the far side of the laboratory. But Fabius did not turn from his work. "The Legion will be assembling for the drop to the planet's surface." "They have already left," said Fabius. "The Phoenician and his flawless host will soon be guests of the Lord of Iron." "I should be with them. You promised I would be with them." Fabius shrugged. "More pressing matters arose," he said. "Be glad I attended you at all. Had the decision been mine, I would have left you to die." "I did die." Fabius waved away the semantics. "Life, death, words. Life is a purely mechanistic process. The body, a machine that can be restarted when the motive force behind it fails." "Easy for you to say, apothecary. You're not one that's dead." "And neither are you. Though if you persist in distracting me, I might oblige you." "The Primarch would kill you." "Ironic fate that we should both perish by the same blade," laughed Fabius. The voice fell silent, which surprised Fabius, but it gave him a chance to continue his work in peace. The cut was a clean one. The blow struck with enough force, and by a sharp enough blade, that there was virtually no tissue damage beyond the exact point of impact. It was a killing blow of perfect precision, one that only a Primarch was capable of delivering. "What is taking so long anyway?" said the voice, and Fabius ground his teeth at the tonal implications of his tardiness. You are supposed to be the best. Or was that another one of your hollow boasts? Fabius bit back a caustic response and resisted the urge to wreak some pitiful, spiteful harm on the body before him. Instead, he said, "The nerve clusters at the base of the neck have been severed completely. And trust me, the consequences of them being reconnected wrongly would not be pleasant." "I can live with pain." "And you will," promised Fabius. "The greatest of pain. You will know pain like no other, and it will drive you mad with joy. Every instant of life I give you, you will be spent in a symphony of pain and pleasure. You will hate me and worship me in equal measure, I think. You should know that I've always hated you, Fabius." Fabius turned to address the speaker and grinned, the expression like that of a lecherous skull, taking great pleasure in knowing that the living would soon be its kin. "You waste your hate on me," said Fabius. "I do not take enough notice of your existence for it to be anything other than an irrelevance. Loftier matters demand my attention, not this patchwork abomination of flesh. I think I will kill you someday." "You will not," said Fabius. "You are arrogant, and you are a fool. Think of all the sensation that might yet be yours, the cravings of flesh and blood yet to be satisfied. Imagine the glories you will forego by antagonizing me and causing me to kill you." "The Primarch himself ordered you to restore me," said the voice, almost pleading. "A moment of misplaced remorse," said Fabius, bending back to his task as the Cherugian clicked impatiently. "One he probably already regrets. No, my friend, be assured that if you die down here, you will not be missed. Already your fellow captains jostle and scheme to assume your mantle. I will return more powerful and stronger than ever before." "That you will," agreed Fabius, turning back to the voice. "Now be silent and let me work." On the far side of the laboratory, shadowed, a severed head sat atop a crown of surgical spikes. Tube feeds, blood pumps, electoral stimulators, and coolant oils that kept the brain within from death. Head and body belonged together, but had been shorn by a single blow from Fulgrim's golden-bladed sword. The severed head watched Fabius at work on his dead body and plotted the many ways he wanted him to suffer. You have to admit that Fabius, Bile, Fulgrim, the whole host of Emperor's children are chef's kiss perfect for Halloween. I have a few more excerpts I will read from these magnificent books. I have Angel Exterminatus on my Kindle because originally it was a book I listened to when it first was released, and I'm looking around for my copy of, oh, it's over there, out of reach. A couple more passages from Fulgrim, I do believe, are in order for the month of Halloween. I hope you are enjoying these readings. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.